At first glance, Wobbuffet appears harmless. It rarely attacks and exists almost entirely in a reactive state. However, its Pokédex entries consistently emphasize one unsettling detail. Wobbuffet hides its true body. The blue form that most trainers recognize is never described as vital. Instead, the blacktail is repeatedly referred to as the core that must be protected at all costs. The visible body exists only to endure damage, lure attacks, and mislead enemies. This implies that Wobbuffet is not a single organism, but a biological decoy system. The tail may be a parasitic or symbiotic entity using the blue mass as armor. Some entries state that Wobbuffet lives solely to protect its tail, suggesting a purpose stripped of instinct or emotion. The Pokémon is not the body that takes damage, but the part that never reveals itself. Lieutenant Surge is known as the Lightning American, larger-than-life gym leader who values raw power above all else. Yet one line of dialogue permanently alters his character. He openly states that he survived a Pokémon war. This is one of the few explicit acknowledgements of large-scale human conflict in the Pokémon world. The theory suggests that Pokémon were once used as weapons rather than partners. Electric types like Raichu may have been deployed for shock tactics, disabling infrastructure or overwhelming enemy forces. This context explains Surge's obsession with strength and obedience. Surge is not simply a tough trainer. He is a veteran shaped by a reality the games refuse to fully acknowledge. Despite the franchise's friendly tone, multiple Pokédex entries confirm that Pokémon are consumed as food. Farfetch'd is described as nearly extinct due to being hunted for its flavor. Slowpoke tails are sold openly as luxury delicacies. Magikarp is noted as edible, though unpleasantly bony. These facts imply that Pokémon are not sacred beings, but integrated into the food chain like real animals. The darker implication is coexistence through contradiction. Humans bond with Pokémon emotionally, yet also exploit them for survival and profit. Battles are treated as sport, while consumption is normalized. The Pokémon world does not separate companionship from utility. It blends them. This creates a morally complex ecosystem where affection and exploitation exist side by side. Pokémon are friends, tools, and food simultaneously. The games rarely confront this tension, but the Pokédex does not deny it. Some Pokémon only evolve through trading, such as Machamp, Golem, or Alakazam. However, these fully evolved forms can be found living in the wild. The theory suggests these Pokémon were once owned by trainers who traded them, triggering evolution and later released them. This reframes evolution as a transactional process rather than a natural one. Trainers sought power, completed the exchange, and discarded the result. Wild Machamp are not naturally occurring species, but remnants of broken bonds. They wander without trainers, without purpose, evolved through human interference, and then abandoned. This interpretation paints a bleak picture of trainer culture. Evolution is achieved, loyalty becomes irrelevant, and responsibility ends. These Pokémon exist because someone wanted strength, not companionship. Phantumb's Pokédex entries state plainly that it is the spirit of a child who died after becoming lost in the forest. This is not metaphorical, it is direct. Forests in Pokémon games are designed as confusing, maze-like spaces, often filled with trainers, wild Pokémon, and minimal guidance. Children frequently wander these areas alone. The theory connects disappearances to Phantumb's existence, suggesting forests function as spiritual traps. Lost souls do not pass on. They transform. The Pokémon world disguises death beneath fantasy, but Phantumb exposes it openly. Each one represents a child who never returned home. Instead of peace, they are reborn as something bound to the place of their death. Forests are no longer neutral environments. They are graveyards populated by the consequences of neglect and loss. Ash's Pikachu behaves unlike any other starter Pokémon. It refuses to enter a Pokéball Fireball, rejects commands, and displays immediate distrust toward humans. This theory suggests Pikachu had a previous trainer who abandoned or mistreated it. Its unusual strength at an early stage implies prior battle experience. Pikachu's resistance is not defiance, but trauma. Over time, its bond with Ash grows slowly, earned rather than assumed. This reframes their relationship as recovery rather than destiny. Pikachu is not special because it chose Ash instantly. It is special because it learned to trust again. The series never confirms this explicitly, but Pikachu's behavior aligns with a history of loss. Gastly is described as a being composed of poisonous gas, while Cloyster is encased within an impenetrable shell. The theory proposes that Gastly forms when a Cloyster dies and releases what was sealed inside. Cloyster's shell resembles a coffin, tightly shut, emotionless and defensive. Gastly's gaseous body may represent the soul escaping physical confinement. This aligns with Pokémon themes of death and transformation, where life does not end but changes form. Cloyster protects itself by sealing away vulnerability. Gastly exists as vulnerability itself. Venonat shares strong visual similarities with Butterfree, including compound eyes, antennae, and body structure. Meanwhile, Caterpie evolves into Butterfree despite lacking those traits. Early beta designs suggest these evolutionary lines may have been swapped during development. The theory suggests a late design change permanently altered evolutionary logic. What players accept as natural progression may be the result of an error rather than intention. Drifloon's Pokédex entries state that it grabs children and attempts to carry them away. This behavior is often dismissed as folklore, yet some entries warn of children who vanish after mistaking Drifloon for a balloon. Drifloon is light but persistent. It does not overpower. It lures. The theory suggests Drifloon is drawn not to bodies, but to souls. Ghost types often originate from human loss, and Drifloon may represent spirits seeking companionship. Children, emotionally open and trusting, become targets. The Pokémon world frames this as myth, but the warnings are explicit. Drifloon does not play. It hunts quietly. Its cheerful appearance masks intent. When Nincada evolves, Shedinja appears without explanation. Pokédex entries describe it as an empty shell that does not breathe, eat, or grow. Anyone who looks into the opening on its back loses their soul. Shedinja exists without biological function. It is not alive in any conventional sense. The theory suggests Shedinja absorbs leftover life force created during evolution, forming something unnatural. Unlike other Pokémon, it feels incomplete, as if it should not exist. Evolution produced excess, and Shedinja is the residue. It does not act with intention. It simply is. A husk animated by something wrong. In a world defined by growth, Shedinja represents a mistake made permanent. If you enjoyed this video, consider leaving a like and subscribing for more Pokémon content. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. More videos like this are coming very soon.